What's up guys, Kevin Cage here with another crypto update. Hope everyone's doing well. We're going to start things off looking at the price charts, then we're going to run through some recent news. So first up, we have alts like Moonriver on the monthly time frame. This thing out of nowhere, even from its cycle low, just drew over a 10x. And we're seeing alts left and right reaching this 21 EMA on the monthly time frame. As you can see, a perfect wick up to that level. We had ADA or Cardano already surpassed this. We had Rose, HBAR, Algorand is getting there, API 3 has reached this level, and then other alts far surpassed this level such as AVAX or Avalanche. Solana went right through it. Injective or INJ, we have Fetch, Render, and more. But we have alts like Atom, Polkadot, a lot of them retracing up to this level. So this is Atom, we have Polkadot, and then others that are still below this level such as Kava, Harmony One, Gala, Curve or CRV. We have Casper below this level. The 21 EMA is just around 5.5 cents. And also Chiliz or CHZ. So here's AVAX or the Avalanche price chart. So for a variety of assets that I'm looking at, I map out these large weekly fair value gaps or sell side imbalances because when proper volume comes, we see the RSI on the weekly cross through the 50 line like here, even into overbought, or the monthly time frame crossing through the 50 line. Let me pull up the monthly really quick. As you can see, just cutting through that 50. We're seeing a lot of assets getting that recovery. Some are up 50%, some are up multiple 100%. And there are times every single crypto cycle towards the end of a bear market, we get this retracement up to these fair value gaps. Now, we don't know if Bitcoin is going right to an all-time high price in 2024. I sure hope so, and I hope it follows other assets like Injective. But when I'm looking at these fair value gaps, let me pull up HBAR as well. We still have a variety of imbalances above that likely fill during a bull run, especially as Bitcoin is pushing into an all-time high price. So for the HBAR price chart, there's really not too much of a change. We're still down here, about to take out these previous highs, maybe break out of accumulation and show these signs of strength and actually start touching some of these levels. Alts like Solana, Injective, Fetch, Render, AVAX have already took out some of their imbalances. And Rose looks like it's doing the same exact thing. We still have this big fair value gap around 20 cents. So the biggest thing I want to point out for a variety of assets is when the weekly RSI crosses the 50 line, we got the continuation, in this case into overbought, piercing 70 where momentum is at an all-time high and we pushed higher. And going back up to the monthly time frame, you can see the same thing occur, crossing the 50 line for that run. So looking at alts like Moonriver, back in July I mapped out these sell-side imbalances and fair value gaps, but notice I didn't find the bottom by any means. This is around $5. And so basically back in July I mapped out these sell-side imbalances that likely get filled when volume comes, and we can see we still went lower, curled back up, and then started closing these imbalances. And these are the same exact numbers as this previous chart, and I just want to emphasize that these levels or imbalances act like magnets for price action. When we get necessary volume, even going to the monthly, you can just see the volume just taking off. In Moonriver, even at the bottom of these two wicks, we see it did over a 1000% move. And per this weekly fair value gap where the wicks don't overlap and there's an imbalance, we can see the weekly candle bodies closed exactly on this level. I'm kicking myself because I almost took a big position in Moonriver, but I just wasn't comfortable with the risk and reward, and even back in September I just wasn't super confident, so the market worked me. I was looking at it all summer at $5, $7, and even down to like $3 to $4. And I knew the potential for a variety of assets to get this strong V-shaped recovery that we're seeing a variety of assets do, like Moonriver, Algo, etc. I just wasn't as comfortable taking a very big position. Obviously did a 1000% move, easy opportunity to get a 2 or 3x in that. But on to the next one, there's going to be plenty more opportunity. There's a variety of assets that still have these large fair value gaps that are likely going to act like a magnet for price action when we get that volume. And coming up to the weekly fair value gap and candle bodies closing on this level, this is exactly what XRP did last cycle during its retracement. As we can see, this was XRP back in 2018. We had this huge weekly sell-side imbalance, and during the retracement, what did we do? Last cycle, instead of creating a new all-time high price, we actually closed right there to perfection the weekly candle bodies on this imbalance. So that's a big reason why I'm looking at other price charts, looking at these sell-side imbalances, not even talking about an all-time high price, although I believe in it, but just looking at these levels that we have to clear. Just like XRP right up here around $1.10, right there. So in the middle of this fair value gap is right around $1.10. And for Bitcoin, whether you believe we crash down to 20K or we actually go to the higher imbalances, the highest fair value gap on the weekly time frame for Bitcoin is right around 60,000. So not financial advice, I do believe that Bitcoin creates a new all-time high price at some point, and this is a game of probability. It's not just putting fractals next to each other, it's not just looking at different alts, hitting different moving averages, but it's watching the overall market just recover together, and this is the same thing that we see every single cycle. And provided the Bitcoin price chart holds above 40,000, there's going to be a variety of assets that are still below that are going to retrace and recover to some degree. And I want to emphasize, when Bitcoin last cycle pushed into an all-time high price, taking out its previous cycle high and started exploding, that is when we saw the biggest moves for alts doing 3, 5, 10x plus. And during that time when Bitcoin is pushing into a new high, this is when we see alts absolutely rocket, and that's when I take those very high-risk plays of trying to compound a portion of my portfolio. And at all times, I still have my long-term holdings for assets that I believe in over the coming years. I still have a cash position anywhere from 10 to 20%. Sometimes it'll go down to zero. Sometimes it'll go up to like 20, 30%. And then I'll have a smaller position of my overall portfolio is a trading bag, and some of which I'll try to compound returns. And this type of strategy is something that's just right for me. Everybody has their own preferences, risk appetite, time horizon, but I try to take a smaller position of my portfolio when that time comes and actually compound. And compounding is super risky, investing is risky, everything's risky. But everyone just has to pick their poison and find a strategy that they're comfortable with and works for them. And overall, I still believe the Bitcoin price chart and also the entire crypto asset class creates another all-time high price in the future. It's great to see a variety of assets from their cycle lows starting to recover. Remember last year when QNT technically did over a 5x or over a 400% move, everybody loved it. And then over the past year, if you're paying attention on Twitter, we just ranged sideways, kind of crashed a bit, and it was called a scam all over again. And now that it's up again 40, 50%, everybody's happy. As far as I'm concerned, and this is just my opinion, we're just seeing volume rotating between different assets. Some are getting the push, some aren't, and they're just taking turns. And looking on the weekly chart, we can definitely just say that Bitcoin is in a bull run, no doubt about it. But when I say like the bull run, I'm referring to the next cycle where Bitcoin takes out its previous cycle high. Okay, let's dive into some recent news. First up, for anybody that needs to file your tax report, you can use Coinly, linked in the video description. They do have an end of year discount. So this is located both in the YouTube video description and in my link tree if you scroll right down to tax tracking right there. And you can use whatever tax tracking software you have, whether it's TaxBit, Coinly, or anything between. Just wanted to share that Coinly does have a 30% discount currently. Using code EndOfYearSale23 at checkout, and you can save 30%. Next up, shared by Ripple. Ripple, the company, has been added to the Central Bank of Ireland's Virtual Asset Service Providers Register, or their VASP register. Registration will allow the enterprise blockchain and crypto solutions firm to provide certain digital asset services within Ireland. We're seeing VASP registration across the board for a variety of crypto companies in a variety of countries. Remember, Ripple Markets secured its major payments institution license from the Monetary Authority of Singapore, or the Central Bank of Singapore. And Ripple also obtained the majority of its 35 money transmitter licenses in 2023. Plus, last month, the Dubai Financial Services Authority, the DFSA, approving the digital asset XRP specifically for use within the DIFC, which means that licensed virtual asset firms within this Dubai district will now be able to incorporate XRP. We have shared by Matthew Liony, so this is back in 2022 from the Central Bank of all central banks, or the BIS, Prudential Treatment of Crypto Asset Exposures. So we talk about regulation almost every single video, but we are seeing this taking place today, including tokenization, regarding stablecoins and the tokenization of traditional assets. And Matthew is a must follow on X. He also linked the source right there. This document sets out the final standard which the committee has agreed to implement by the 1st of January in 2025. And here are some predictions from the head of payments product over at Ripple. Ripple expects for a utility boom in 2024 and funding to rebound, with the focus on solving real-world problems and not centered purely around infrastructure. These fintechs must adopt blockchain and crypto to be successful in the years ahead, and we expect to see greater collaboration amongst fintech and crypto companies. And they predict that stablecoins will dominate outside of the US. The majority of stablecoin inflows to the 50 biggest cryptocurrency services have shifted from US licensed services to non-US licensed services since spring of 2023. We will see stablecoins from non-G7 currencies take off, creating a new entry point and gateway to crypto, providing exposure to currencies for consumers and allowing them to pay people and move money in real life. Next month for Casper Labs, we have the 3rd annual event. This is called The Hub instead of Blockchain Hub Davos. So this year they're calling it the Hub Davos 2024. Different speakers include Google Cloud, we have the Actis Foundation, we have UBS, Skybridge, AWS, T-Mobile, Onyx, Coinbase. We have Securency in the DTCC. Dear crypto gods, please get Casper a Coinbase, Kraken, and Binance listing in 2024. We have Cloudflare, we have Solana, we have Circle, Tech Mahindra, the BIS, Casper Labs, Casper Association, Ledger, and IBM. And for the Hedera mainnet in the token HBAR, we have over 36 billion transactions on its mainnet, and over 1,900 transactions per second. Back in January, we were still under 1 billion transactions in a single month. Then February was the first month that we ever surpassed over 1 billion transactions on mainnet. Since then, we have had a steady climb. In the last 2 months, both in November and even this month, are both over 5 billion transactions on the mainnet in a single month. The fact that the bulk of these transactions is coming from a single use case with Atma.io or the company Avery Dennison is huge. With over 22 billion items being tracked, tracking the provenance, the entire journey through the supply chain utilizing Hedera's consensus service. And huge shout out to Generation Infinity. I'm going to play a few quick clips going over Hedera from Mance Harmon.
It's not the case that there is a single platform you can go to that's going to deliver a full solution for all of your tokenization needs. Sure. And there are a lot of reasons for that, and tokenization is, a big category. There are lots of different types of assets that you can tokenize, etc. Anyway, the point is that we're so early in the mainstreaming of tokenization that we've only seen a handful of really meaningful projects. And they make headlines because there's only been a handful of meaningful projects, right? When you see a $15 million tokenization project be done 5 years from now, it should be a yawn. It shouldn't make the news.
Yep.
And so I think that it's going to be, it is what's going to, change the world. It is a killer application for the industry. It's also a major theme right now. It took literally decades for us to get where we are from the Web 1.0 and Web 2.0 perspective. It's going to take decades to realize the potential of Web 3.
So we're seeing things being built every single day in terms of infrastructure, in terms of key recovery, just to basically make this Web 2 to Web 3 experience a lot more seamless and build 2.5 or Web 2.5 applications. I know HBAR is a large supply, but it also has one of the biggest networks in the entire space. When we go to different websites like DeFi Llama and we can see the number of total value locked or TVL in the billions, I would love to see a platform or a website in the future that shows TVR, total value represented on chain, or the number of assets or the AUM that has been tokenized as well. So I believe there's going to be several dozen primary chains and very large winners in the future, but the question is how large are these market caps and how big will some of these winning protocols be for these global protocols that solve the biggest number of problems? In looking at different assets like HBAR, if we even achieved what Cardano's all-time high market cap was in the past, that would be around $2. And that's considering HBAR's total supply of 50 billion, not its current circulating supply of over 30 billion. And I believe the crypto asset class is going to be a major asset class at some point. Even looking back at last cycle, Ethereum, one of the leading assets in this market, its all-time high market cap was 570 billion. If any alts, even HBAR, reached a $570 billion market cap, even considering its full max supply, which is capped at 50 billion, that would be $11 for HBAR. And I'm not saying HBAR goes to $5 or $10 plus, but with success, $1 is absolutely possible. And last but not least, we have iTrust Capital linked in the top of the YouTube video description and in the pinned comment. If you decide to create a crypto retirement account using the link below, you also get a $100 funding reward. I've had a Roth IRA in the crypto asset class for years, and I've been with iTrust Capital since January of 2020. And there are 0 annual fees, 0 monthly fees, and 0 custody fees, and no hidden management fees or anything like that. So I have a nest egg in the crypto asset class that used to be in the S&P 500, but I rotated it over to crypto for the coming years. There's a variety of assets available, including HBAR. Feel free to check them out. iTrust Capital was last valued at $1.3 billion. And they're one of the few legitimate platforms that actually leverages a qualified custodian under the SEC. So if they ever did go out of business, which I personally don't see happening, I get my funds by law. And the benefit is that all of my gains in my Roth IRA are 100% tax-free, so I'm paying 0% in capital gains rather than 20% or even 37% if I was just trading. Hope you guys enjoyed today's video. Huge thank you to all that hit the like button, and I'll catch you in the next one. If you enjoyed this video, I'd greatly appreciate if you could hit the like button, let me know your thoughts down below, and my link tree is linked in the top of this YouTube video description, with all links, crypto resources, and discounts. I'll catch you in the next one.